Bethany was so appropriate. Bethany's got her green on, so happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. There you go. I just didn't think about it this morning, so
Happy St. Patty's.
awesome. Hey, I wanted to start by well, first of all, we got a little bit of different program today. I'm going to do my thing for about I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, whatever time frame that is, and then Rich, the OPs decided that they wanted to come in and bring value to you as well and kind of talk about, in some cases, what they might be training in their market center or just some value to all of you as a team leader, how they could bring some value. So Rich Carpentieri is going to be on the call today, and he's got a team leader success list he's going to be sharing with everybody. So before we get started, I wanted to highlight, well, first of all, I want to highlight the successes, but I want some of you, we'll start with Cameron, and then we'll go to, who else was there? Marietta. Cameron, tell me, what did you think of the class on Friday?
I thought it was really impactful just because you lose sight of your one thing and your focus and just kind of putting it in perspective of it all fits. And it's okay to feel overwhelmed, but just to stay focused on your one thing.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you got that. And you got a lot of good little tidbits, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Awesome. Ryan, I'll go to you next. You're new, so let's just welcome you to our team. I know you were on the call last week, but that was your first week. So Ryan Pickard, everybody, just joined us from well, I'll let you tell everybody where you just joined us from, and you're our new team leader in Orlando North.
Correct. Really happy to be here. Thank you for the introduction. So I actually come from EXP on the corporate side. I pretty much ran the entire state of California for anybody that wanted to build a team. I would help them with team development and business planning, strategy, etc. But in terms of the class that we had last week, what I'll tell you is that, in preparation for this role, I had these ideas percolating in terms of how I'm going to have conversations with agents and, how I'm going to go about recruiting. And it definitely threw a little bit of a curveball in all of my plans for the better. The one thing that I definitely would say is that there were just a lot of golden nuggets in between the information. I mean, the information was great, but golden nuggets, like for example, we talked about managing and protecting time and doing warm handoffs. And my door was open this morning and somebody came in and it was a brand new agent asking me questions about business cards. And I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to the bathroom. Let me walk with me. And I brought her over to her MCTT and she took care of them. And you know what? It went off without a hitch. So it was, it's little tiny things like that. These things that you need to know to be efficient within your role and, to free up that time so you can keep, so that you can focus on what you need to focus on, that frankly, I never would have even thought of if I didn't attend that class. So I'll tell you, I can't wait for the next one. I know that Georgia, you said it's a series and I plan on being there as often as I can because it's just, I mean, you're just a resource of information. So I appreciate it.
Well, we're looking for April 20. I'm looking at it. What did I say, Ashley? April 25th? I know I promised you guys a pardon? Yeah, April 25th. So I'm going to be getting that email out to all of you. So I think hopefully that fits in everybody's schedule. And just a reminder, and this is open, this is open to anybody. So we look forward to having any of you there. Marietta, where are you?
I am in Jacksonville, Orange Park.
Well, I know that. I mean, I'm sorry, I meant where. I couldn't see it on my screen. So I was asking you a question you didn't even know I was asking because I couldn't see it on my screen. But that's a great answer. That's a great answer. What did you get out of the call? I mean, out of the event on Friday. Well, we're waiting for everybody else to log on.
It was very impactful. Obviously, those that were in the room know that I've been a team leader for quite a few years, and sometimes we forget. You forget the easy way to do things and you try to do things a lot more difficult. So your 3-in-1 that you shared with us was amazing. Those sandwich calls with our interior agents, fantastic. Not only was the training amazing and we really dove into the strategies with you and you shared with us your success and how you did it. Even the conversations during lunch, the brainstorming that we were able to do with other team leaders, all of it was impactful. And I took my director of agent services, because she handles all our new agent appointments. And we spoke the entire 2.5 hours coming back from the training, and just came up with more ideas. And she was overwhelmed and excited about the opportunities within KW. So
Awesome.
don't forget your staff.
Yeah, that's amazing. So how did your calls go this morning when you were asking for those referrals?
Fantastic and easy as pie.
It's just a matter of doing. Did you get some referrals?
I did. So I have 3 referrals from this morning. And yes, and I have the India referral from Friday that I'm touching base
Yeah.
with this afternoon. So we even made calls in the room on Friday, and that was fantastic. Because when you make calls in a group environment like that, it's just like Bold. You feed off each other's energy. It was amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So it's because we were following, actually, which I'm going to talk about. We were following the Jonathan Dupree call, and so we just went ahead and did what they were doing, and then I had you guys do some other things, and then I think I was telling everybody this morning on my OP call that we got about, I think, 20 at the end, by the end of the day, because they kept sprinkling in. We got about 20 referrals
Yes, we did.
from that. So good job, everybody. All right, so we'll look forward. I'm looking forward to having you again, and even deep diving into some things more. So I wanted to share our success so far that we're having this month. So somebody tell me, because again, my job is to kind of teach people how to think. So this is the 17th. Who can tell me what the 15th protocol is? Okay, nobody knows what the 15th protocol is? Oh, well, there's a good opportunity, Ashley, because sometimes we assume, don't we?
I can
So
help
the
you.
15th protocol, oh, go ahead, Rebecca.
Yeah, so the 15th protocol is if we are not on track to hit our goals by the middle of the month, we put in our 15th of the month protocol, which is, are we calling agents? Like, what are the steps that we need to take to ensure that we get ahead if we're not tracking?
Yeah, because, this was this was kind of a funny little aha that one of the team leaders had, because I was talking about the importance of putting in your Slack number. And I said, every team leader at the end of the day should be putting in their numbers. In fact, it's Ronnie, he's jumping on here. At the end of every day, if our number one focus is growth, right, Rebecca? Then the one thing we should do at the end of the day, when we end our day, just to finish our day, is report our numbers on Slack. Now, I know that some of you have other things that you report them on, but put them on Slack, so you get that done. And then it was Ronnie. Ronnie, you just joined me, so I was talking about this. Ronnie had mentioned, he says, "Oh, I thought, why do we put him in at 10 o'clock the next day?" And I said, "Well, that's the latest they should be in, because we do a recap every day, the following day, because, some of the numbers come in, Rebecca, at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock or whatever, So we just do our recap the next day. And so we say, always be sure you get your numbers in by 10 the next day, so you're not behind on your numbers. But actually, they should be in the night before, because I go home that night and I look, depending on what time it is, sometimes I respond, but usually I don't get home or in a point where I could do it until 7 or 7:30. And so I'm looking at them and checking them out. So just a reminder to everybody, those should be done at the end of the day, but no later than 10 o'clock the next day. But it's really great if you can have them in there that night. So basically, this is congratulations on the 15th protocol. So we should be, most of your goals are somewhere between 7, 8, and 10. 7, 8, and 10. Regardless, we should always be hitting 5. We should always be hitting 5. So I just wanted to shout out to people that I feel are kind of like close to where we should be. Bradenton Manatee is 5 gross. Celebration is at 3 gross. Claremont is at 6. And by the way, some of the let's be looking at our appointments as well. So Gainesville, Wiki, he's at 18. So how many appointments should we be tracking right now? If our goal for appointments is somewhere between 30 and 40, how many? What appointment? what is it? Marietta 20, right? So Wiki's at 18, Eddie's gross 3. Jack's Beach, gross 3. Jack's Mandarin, right on target, there, Susan, 15 appointments and gross 6. Really, really great job. Marietta, you're at Orange Park, you 10 appointments, but you're just starting in the role and you're gross 3. So good job. And it looks like you got an R2. So woohoo, good job on that. Lakeland, Mr. Damien, and Nicole, because I know Nicole's a big part of this number. Appointments are 26 and gross 4. New Tampa is at gross 5. Ocala, 20 appointments. Good job, Andrew. And Robert is at 3. Orlando Central, well, I guess we got villages separate. Orlando Central, we've got gross 6. And Lake Nona, we're at gross 3. And Orlando South, we're at gross 3. Orlando Southwest, we're at gross 5. Waterford, really good job, Matt. You're making it happen. He's got 18 appointments and gross 5. And then Lakewood Ranch, Rebecca, good job. You're at 7. And Sarasota Metro, they are at gross 4. They're on their vacation honeymoon. I think they've been married for 3 years now. Tallahassee, we're at gross 4. And Venice is gross 3. And Winter Haven, you are at gross 5. So I was tracking anybody that that would be pretty close to 3 or more, because that would mean we would be at probably, 6 or greater. So good job. I do want to point out something though. And it's just kind of weird how these things happen. That on the growth call today, what were they talking about? What was the one thing that they were talking about? Michelle, what was she talking about that she really started focusing on? Do you remember what she said she was focusing on?
Appointments,
right? And so it's interesting because we were talking about appointments, Marietta, on our call, in our meeting on Friday, right? And so appointments. So basically we have 38 market centers. 38 market centers times 40 would be 1,520. I'm just going to say 1,500 appointments. If we're in the middle of the month, we should be at about 750 appointments. And right now we're sitting at 399. Now, for those of you that are hit it, that's awesome. And as I look at the numbers, I have two things I'm looking at. One is the appointments seem to be a little off for being the middle of the month. So I know we can catch up. And the second thing is that I'm not sure that I want to make sure we're reporting them correctly, because if you have other people in your market center that are doing appointments for you, like a staff member, market center tech trainer, director of first impressions, do you count those? You count those. So I was telling the OPs on the call earlier today, the one thing that I would be doing as a team leader with my growth team is at the end of the day, I would be making sure that they are reporting to me what they accomplished. So if you have a MCA, if you have a market center tech trainer, if you have like Nicole, I know Nicole does a lot of growth in her market center with Damien. If you have other staff members, make sure that they're reporting the numbers to you, so you know that your staff is doing all the things that you need to do for your success as a team leader. And then you know where you need to tweak or congratulate or look at if you're where you need to be, because theoretically speaking, every week you should be hitting 10 appointments, whether it's through you or your staff. And let's make sure that we're getting all of our appointments counted appropriately. Then you're going to monitor your conversion. Okay, just like an agent. Hank did a really good job about talking about agent conversions when he was doing his analysis of looking at an agent's business. We were talking about the conversion ratios, right? And what you should be converting at. And so that you would be doing the same thing. So if you're at, if we're at 399 appointments right now, we should be at about 750. If we were at 750, we would actually be at about a 25% conversion. I'm just using our average, would be 191, which would be another 90 or 84 gross. which if this is everybody we took out, and I know we have a plan right now for that, but it's not really hugely impacting things. I see like 2 or 3 here and 2 or 3 here. I don't see a big impact on that. But right now, if we just had 80 more, we would be at 80 plus 19, we would be at 99 net. We would be at 99 net. And our goal is 123 net. So we would be tracking pretty much our net. So we need to think like mega agents and thinking about listing appointments or, putting a buyer under contract or having a buyer meeting, and what would your conversion rate be? Your appointments to gross, or your appointments are the same as an agent would do with his or her listing appointments, or buyer contracts, or buyer agreements getting signed. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so let's think about us as mega agents, and what do we need to do to hit the appointments we need. Now, if we're having challenges with getting appointments, one of the things, Marietta, that you did that maybe you weren't doing before is we're not, that I think the biggest aha in that class was, yeah, that's right, I need to call my agents and ask them for a lead. Right? And Ryan, your opportunity is to get in relationship with the people that you have there, so they know, because one of the things we talked about was it's kind of hard to ask for a lead if you don't have that relationship built, right? So I think you were going to go back and start working on, kind of knowing people a little bit, so when you're calling them, it's not so awkward, right? Awesome. Okay.
Correct.
So what I would like you to get is really start putting our numbers into Slack, so I can look at them every night, and we can really find where our opportunities are. And then I think if we really start to focus on this, I'm already starting to see some successes with some of the conversations we're having. So you guys are doing amazing. And I just want to say thank you very much, because we're already starting to see some improvements on the numbers. And, our job is to teach you how to think a little bit differently, so everybody can get what they want. All right, I want to transition here, because we're going to bring Rich up here in about another 10 or 15 minutes. And then I want to talk about the Power Up call. Now, here is the schedule of these. And Ashley, you mentioned that I think you were going to put them on the hub somewhere, right? All right, so they're on the hub right now under weekly calls. So I'll go there and show you where they are. But these are every other, they're every other, not every other day, I guess. They're Tuesdays and Fridays. I thought they were every other week. They're every other Tuesdays and Fridays, Tuesdays and Fridays, Tuesdays and Fridays. I'm going to encourage you guys to please be on these Power Up calls. It's from 10:30 to 11. If you have staff members, get your staff member to get on these Power Up calls, okay? I thought there was great value in these, and again, good little nuggets. So I will show you where these are on the hub, but before we do that, a couple of things. First of all, there was a connector document that they used. So we have this for you. We will send this out. I gave it to everybody that was in the class, or we'll be sending it out, but we got this down. But there's a connector. Who do you know in real estate that I should meet? Then you have the success story approach. I'm looking for great agents like you. Who do you know? Because you know what? It's not always about recruiting the person you're talking to, but they might know somebody. And then the third one is the urgent call to action. If you could invite one agent to an event this week, who would it be? Okay. And so you've got several scripts here. So again, value items that you're getting from that call. So that's one thing. Then the second thing is, and I want you to have a conversation with your OP about this. They provided you this list and the dialogues to have with agents about the Berkshire Hathaway command. Now, I'm going to let you guys do this on your own. I don't know how soon or if or when or even if this is going to happen. So I want us to be very cautious about making a call like this. I'm not saying do it or not do it. I'm just saying we don't know that this is really occurring. So I know you're getting possibly a lot of feedback from your coach and from other venues or areas that they might be talking about this. I would be a little bit more gentle in the conversation about acquiring, because we don't honestly know if that's gonna happen or not. So I would always come from curiosity on that, and if you have any questions, visit with your OP and maybe they can help you with some suggestions on that as well. The other thing I wanted to ask you about is, I also don't want you to get into a thing about, oh, well, you guys just got purchased. You know, because we didn't get purchased, we have a partner. So if that were to come up, if you get into a situation where they say, well, wait a minute, Keller Williams was purchased as well, or you're seeing that information, remember, we were not purchased. We do have a partner that has invested in Keller Williams, but we were not sold. Does that make sense to everybody? And these scripts are a little bit more about, you know, Berkshire Hathaway getting sold to Compass, and that's been the news. And never was those words described for Keller Williams. It was always like Stone Point Capital has come in and they are investing in our company, and we have a new partner to help us grow. So I just don't want you guys getting put into a little situation there. So we're going to be sending all of these out to you, and then get with your OP on anything that you may or may not be comfortable in how to handle those. Okay. Then what else was I going to talk to you about? Just some updates, some exciting news. We are partnering with Jeff Glover because Jeff does such a great job, and he kind of comes in as a, I can quit sharing. He kind of comes in as a, not Keller Williamsy. Okay. So I think it's easier to recruit, to invite people to the Jeff Glover event. Now, we are going to be a sponsor in the Orlando and Tampa area. I can talk to Jacksonville about that as well if they wanted to consider something like that. But we are going to be a sponsor in Orlando and Tampa. And the tickets are only $39. I'm working with him on possibly getting some discounted tickets, but we don't have that right now. And so he's doing his thing externally. You can do your thing externally as well, but this is a great way for you to bring people to an event that you don't have to say it's a Keller Williams event. Does that make sense? We are going to be listed as a sponsor, but not on his marketing, not on his marketing. And so it's going to be a 3-hour event. The Orlando event is April 14th, and the Tampa event is April 24th. So I just want to make sure that you all have those dates. I will get you the dates. Can you look, Ashley, in that text message? There was one for Jacksonville, but I don't have it. What is it? April 17th. April 17th is the one in Jacksonville. Okay. Now, I also have an update on Phil Jones. I am leaving tomorrow to go to New York, Chris, your favorite place. And I'm going to go to the Phil Jones.
Paris might be my favorite place. You have to talk to me next week.
I know you want to go to London now, right? Or Vienna or something like that. I know you told me about it. Anyway, I'm going to Rockefeller Center, and I'm going to attend the Phil Jones certification. So I'm going to take the class for $2,500 that we are probably going to be offering to all of you for under $1,000, probably like $850. And my dates on this so far, if we continue to do this, are going to be like around June 26th and 27th. So I'm going to go see this, make sure it's something that we want, come back, bring you really, really great content and information on it. And then I just want to let you know that that might be coming up in June. I want to remind everybody that we have our commercial event. Don't just think this is about, oh, I don't have commercial agents. No, you need to think about how do you go out and create a commercial division so you can recruit commercial agents to your commercial division, okay? And learn the differences between our commercial and what other commercial people do. On March 21st is going to be Cynthia Lee, the head of KW Commercial, and then there's going to be a mastermind panel. On March 20th, for all of you that are leaders and just want to come in and visit with Cynthia, have a luncheon, have a little bit more leadership and ask different kinds of questions, that's going to be on March 20th at 11 o'clock, 11 from 2, so you can kind of come in and out whenever you want. But if you're interested in that, but don't think about it, I don't have commercial agents. And if you do have commercial agents, make sure you're going in and having eyeball to eyeball or phone conversation with your agents. Don't just assume they're getting the emails. Let's see. And we are doing the leverage series, just one day now in Tampa on April 23rd, because we needed to change it because of, Jeff Glover. He already had that date planned. And so, and you know what, I'm kind of finding out that maybe just doing the KPA that one day is better, and then coming back and doing the 30, 60, 90, because it's a lot of content for people that are not familiar with it to absorb in a 2-day period of time. So that first day will just be the career visioning, the how to do the KPA and do a really great verification process. And Ashley, I think I've done everything. So Rich, are you out there?
I'm here.
Rich Carpentieri. So I'm gonna turn over to you, Rich. Tell us about your team leader success list.
Fantastic. You want to share your screen with me? Because I did put together, had my wife put a PowerPoint together.
Yeah,
for the-
you can. I think you can just share. I mean, I think you can go in and share. I just do it and they'll magically give you access.
I love that. So let's go in and let's share. Okay, that's my phone ringing. Let's just decline that. Sorry about that, guys. So just give me a second just to set up. Can everybody see that?
We do.
Okay, so this was, I guess, perfect timing. It's just karma, because my biggest concern that I see in the industry right now in our company is market centers having challenges with getting appointments. At one time, our industry standard or company standard was 40 appointments for a market center. And notice I didn't say team leader, right? The team leader is the person who usually handles appointments, but it's the responsibility of the market center. And when the mindset of all leaders in that market center play together, you'll have a different outcome than if the responsibility is, well, that's the team leader's job, right? Because we're all in this thing together. And so I want you to just keep that in mind, because mindset is the most important thing, not to underestimate skill set, but when a team leader and the leadership group have the right mindset, I promise you, your appointments are going to go up. And we're seeing this industry-wide throughout Keller Williams. Our appointments are getting lower and lower. So I wanted to share some of the things that we used to do 15 years ago. 15 years ago, in our region, we had some really big heavy hitters for team leaders out there. I mean, we had some tremendous ones, one of which is still a team leader today, Dallas Coldfield. I think he's the only one that's left as a team leader. I mean, Leo and Beth and was in the first wave, and we had amazing people that were Mark Dilworth were recruiting their tails off, right?
How about you, Rich? How about you, Rich?
Well, that's why I didn't make any of this stuff up. I learned from them, right? And then we had the second wave, and we had people like Hank Sorensen and Julie Swain and Damian Boyce, and a lot of other people came, and Rick Bosley. They were like the second wave about 2010, 11, 12. And so what I did is I put a short PowerPoint together just to give you some things that we used to do. And here's what I want you to think about. A lot of times I notice the mindset of team leaders, because it is a position that has a high turnover rate. And what I like to tell my team leaders is it takes 2 full years to learn the job of team leader at a high level. And then it takes another 2 years to master that role, if you really want to be good. So you've got 4 years in. And if the best team leaders I noticed all had same things in common, which were, one, they were either competitive or assertive. 2 was they wanted something, what was going to be next behind the team leader role, whether it's a MAPS coaching job or if it was OP, investor, some sort of role. There was something else, and the team leader role was the stepping stone onto getting what they really wanted. And either one of those worked. And the team leaders that had the worst results were the people that took that role as just a job, a job, because they had bills to pay, right? So mindset was the strongest, in my opinion, the strongest sign of success. So we're going to go through a comprehensive guide of what some of the task and day-to-day things and mindsets that we went through. And guys, I want you to think of this. Think about like the Matrix. It's not a matter of blue pill, red pill. There's no magic pill here. It's not a matter of doing one or two of these things. When you want to be the best in your region, you need to do all of these things. So the time management becomes an issue. So let's get started and let's figure out exactly what we were doing. Number one, lead generation. Now, I've heard people say there's 2 hours a day, there's 3 hours a day. I don't know that you really know. Everybody's different, right? If it takes Hank Sorensen 2 hours a day to get enough appointments on his calendar to meet his goals, maybe it takes me 4 hours a day. So I don't say, don't block a set time. Block as much time as you need to hit your goal so you can hit 40 appointments. Whatever time that is, that may be 6 hours a day. It could be 3 hours a day. It could be 30 minutes. And it's drastically different. When I first started as a team leader back in 2008 and 2009, I was spending anywhere from 3 to 4 hours a day on the telephone. I wasn't big into social media. That's something that's new. And then later on, by 2015, my last year of being a team leader, I was spending 30 minutes a day and booking 5 appointments a day because you start to grow. So you need to book as much time as you need. There's no set time of whatever it takes to hit your goal. Next thing is office networking. And this is really big. I took a class just on Friday with Mike Forza. He did a special training. And he said that we should be getting anywhere between 5 and 10% of your office size in referrals each month. So he said that 10% you're hitting out of the pocket. So let's just say an office has 200 agents, 10% means you should be getting 20 solid referrals, warm leads each month. You're hitting it out of the ballpark. If you're doing more, fantastic. If you're doing less than 5%, his answer was you might have a culture issue. And here's what I remember distinctively when I started out, I was not getting referrals. And when I kept asking for referrals, and when I found out that there were referrals and agents weren't giving, it's because they didn't buy into me as a leader. Remember this, people buy into the leader before they buy into that vision. And sometimes if they don't feel, if the team leader brings a person on and then they just leave them off and there's no productivity coaching or there's no ramp up after that, or no follow-up, they're embarrassed to give you the referral because they don't want to have egg in their face. So if you're not getting referrals, there's a good chance you need to find out why, and it might be there's a cultural issue going on. Next, ALC collaboration. So this was really big. Once a month, we would have the ALC come in and we'd lead generate together, and there was 2 different lists that we had. The first was the state list. Right? The state list of all those people preparing to take the Florida State exam. The second list was from a local real estate school in Orlando. It was IFREC, which was owned by Dick Fryer at the time. So he would give anybody who asked, all the students in his class for any brokerage of any branding to contact at their leisure. So we would have the ALC come in once a month. We would split up these lists. And everybody would participate setting appointments for me, and I would meet, and they would go in their downline. So, and the way this was presented, it was how many of you or who would like the opportunity to grow your downline? Now, guys, if you're choosing your ALC properly, one of the questions on there is how many people are in your downline on that qualification sheet on the ALC class in October. Right. And we're asking them if they're looking to grow their business in their downline. Right. So if you're choosing people that don't want to grow their downline, you should second guess, should they even be on the ALC? So I had people that wanted to grow their downline. I gave them an opportunity, and these people came and actually set appointments with me and for me to host. And then I just respected, make sure they went into those downlines. And then I'd have dialing for dollars, which I still do as an OP, not as often as I should, but we used to do it once a month. So what I used to do is I bought 2 griddles. I love to cook. So anybody who would come in, agents who would love to, they wanted free breakfast. Agents love free food. We would buy champagne and orange juice, make mimosas. I would make omelets for anybody who lead generated in our training room. So I would cook. I'd have somebody assist me, somebody be on a waffle station. I would do the omelets and we would feed, and they would lead generate from like 9 to 10:30. If they didn't lead generate, they didn't get fed. The food was for people who were lead generating in it. So we had this environment of productivity, this environment of energy together, and the leadership staff was there to serve, right? So I had my MCA Maritza Ramos, myself, and if we had a front desk person, because it only started off with the two of us, then we had a third person up there who was serving breakfast, cooking and or serving. So the agents absolutely loved being fed, having mimosas in the morning, and we did this once a month, every month. Consultation opportunities. So when you're meeting with your top 20%, I think somebody had mentioned that, I don't know if it was you, Rebecca, or somebody, about the 3-in-1 conversation. Guys, don't underestimate the power of the 3-in-1 conversation. When Georgia first told us about this, for me, I heard it like 2009 or 10. I thought it was just some conversation. I didn't put a lot of thought into it. But when we become purposeful and intentional, guys, that is a gold mine, that 3-in-1. And somebody, I think Georgia just taught it to you again on Friday at your team leader training, whether it's a phone call through your roster, where you're calling up people to say, hey, Chris, I see that you took 3 listings this much. Congratulations. Then I'm asking, so what training do we need to have on our calendar next month that if it was on your calendar, you would be willing to cancel any and all of your appointments for that day because you knew that that class was going to bring you top value. Now I'm getting input on what training calendar, which should go on my calendar next month. And then I would ask them about referrals. I'd love to, I signed up to help you with your downline. So who are you working with, or who have you worked with in the last 30 days or 60 days that you think would benefit from all the training, coaching, collaboration, and culture that we have right here in Keller Williams? So those were my 3 conversations on 1 phone call, which made my time very efficient, right? So guys, we've got to get down with your top 20% because they know what training you want. They know the people that would do well in our environment and our ecosystem. And these are the people that are going to feed you. Next, we had career night management. Once again, I went to the ALC, guys, success through others. It wasn't me with a one-man show. It gave my ALC the opportunity. We would teach career night every other week. In the beginning, it was every week. Then we went to every other week. And every class was taught by a different ALC member. I taught them how to teach the class, then they took over, and then those people went in the ALC's downline once again. Guys, they want opportunities. If you give them a job, they're going to say no. If you offer them an opportunity, you'll see their mindset will shift from this is a task to this is a tool that's going to help me get what I want in life. Lead follow-up, back then in the day, we called it Red Careers. Now it's called Locations. But all the leads that would come into there, I would have the staff reach out to. Now, again, I didn't delegate these to the leadership of my team. I asked who wanted an opportunity, which is different than leveraging. When you go and leverage something to your agent services or whoever, whatever roles, your productivity coach or MCA, all of a sudden people don't want to do things. They don't think it's their job. But when you explain to them, this is an opportunity for you to grow your downline. The girl at our front desk used to make $7,000 or $8,000 a year in profit share, and she was only with us for about a little over a year, not even 18 months. Why? Because these were all the opportunities we created and we shared them. Our calendar was focused on recruiting. So if I couldn't recruit to a class, then it had no business being on the calendar, guys. Don't fill up your calendar with junk just to say you have a class. Every class you put on the calendar should be something that you or one of your ALC members or somebody in your office should be able to recruit to. And if anybody has any questions or comments, please just raise your hand or just chime right in and interrupt me. this is interactive. I don't want to lecture. I'm not a fan of lecturing. So if somebody can monitor the chat room, I think it's all from previous stuff. Okay, cool. So we're going to move on from there. Networking, guys. So I didn't have the time. So I had, and guys, if I'm being honest, I didn't hit 40 appointments every month, but I'd say over my career, I averaged 35, 36, 37. There were months I did 42, 43. And there were months I hit 32, 33, but I don't ever remember hitting less than 30. It was a different time back then, but our leadership team created an environment where we split up the activities, we split up the opportunities, and we were just doing things for the benefit of the office, not for the benefit of the team leader, right? And to be honest with you, in our society, team leaders get the most credit when it comes to recruiting and growth and black belt status and retention. But the truth is, behind every successful team leader, there's a more successful MCA. And they're the unsung heroes of the MCAs. They're the ones that are out there. The team leaders come up with these crazy ideas. That's the mindset of a team leader. But it's the MCA that finds a way to implement it or tell their team leader, this isn't going to work, right? So I want to give praise to the MCAs. So we had our staff do thank you notes to everybody on our co-op list. And if anybody had any questions, then they filtered those emails or those questions or phone calls to me. Team building training. Guys, this was important. Back then, we used to have Recruit Select. I got certified to teach Recruit Select Lite. So Georgia, I'm going to ask you, is there any way that we can do a certification class for like a career visioning light to teach all leadership, OPs and team leaders, the career visioning, a light version like we used to have? Because that was a major attraction. Not only did it help me grow the teams in my office by teaching it every other month, 6 times a year, it was a recruitable event that didn't cost any money. We know.
Are you just saying you just want it for like 3 or 4 hours or couple hours?
Yes, like a 3 or 4 hour class, a career visioning light, so the team leaders can put this on their calendar. Not only can we help grow the teams inside our market centers, but this is an attraction to recruit to because nobody else has that. So back then,
I just found the RSTLM Lite, which is what you're talking about. I was just going through
yes.
like KWU stuff. And I just saw this. And so let me go back and look, because I think I was one of the only ones that taught it actually at the time.
Yeah, because I mean, we had Rick Bosley, Cynthia Gill, Beth Woodhall, myself in our region were all certified. And that was like a major recruiting tool for us because people didn't know how to build a team. They still don't. They need our help. And this is a major tool. If we can get that, that would, and again, I am not telling you guys to do this without Georgia's blessing. Make sure Georgia say it's okay for us.
Brian is just saying that he teaches the career visioning demystified, the why behind the what. So maybe we can see what he's doing. I can look or just a short version of it and stuff.
Yeah. Next was vendor relations. Are all your leaders, every market center taking out 1 or 2 vendors a month for lunch? That means mortgage, title, home inspector, and sitting down and doing the same consultation with your vendors as you would with your top 20%. Like, what can we do to help grow your business? So before you ask for referrals from your partners, from your vendors, you need to help them before you ask for their help. And guys, let's define an appointment. Georgia will have jurisdiction here, or your OP. In my market centers, our definition of an appointment is anybody who has a real estate license and or is currently enrolled in real estate school. If the person's thinking about going to school and comes to career night, I do not count that as an appointment, but I'll leave that up to your OP in Georgia. But if a person is enrolled in a real estate school and anybody in our market center sits down and does a needs analysis with them, that is an appointment, in my opinion. And so guess what? So is taking out your mortgage broker or your title company, because I guarantee you, number one, they know who's leaving our offices before we do. It's like the person in the hair salon. They know everything. And they also know who else isn't happy at the local Remax, Coldwell Banker, EXP, and is looking for help. And unless you ask them and train them how to think, they're not going to give you those leads. But if you're in dialogue and taking them out, and Georgia used to tell us all the time, take your vendors out. I started taking out a Victoria Prince or Price from Wells Fargo. And one day she called me up out of left field and just said, hey guys, you need to hurry up and contact this mega agent in Lake Nona. She was leaving to go to sign on with a competitor, Fuchsia Realty. And I contacted her in the car. She was going to do paperwork. And I says, how you doing? And she says, it's amazing you just called. I just left my brokerage, just joining up with another brokerage. I said, well, before you do that, can we have a cup of coffee? And then if you still want to join, go join. And she joined our office. Not only became a $25 million agent, she was team leader in Lake Nona, and she was the productivity coach in Lake Nona. She's still in Lake Nona. And I got that lead, that person who is a dear friend of mine because of one of the VPs over at Wells Fargo. So are we taking out people to lunch? And in my opinion, that counts as an appointment. Speak to your OPs again about budgets and stuff. I don't want to oversee. My team leaders can take one mortgage and one title per month. Next up, group coaching. So a lot of the times, because as your office grows, so if you got an office for more than 150 agents, it's very hard for the team leader to spend time with the bottom 80%. They're wrapped up in recruiting or growth or attracting. They're wrapped up in the top 20%. They're wrapped up with dialogue and collaboration with their leadership team, their OP. And so what I used to do is once a week, I would just do group coaching for everybody. Now, group coaching, so make sure you understand the definition between teaching and coaching. I do believe that most of us have blurred lines or vision when it comes to this. Teaching, and so anybody can answer this, and I'm sure Mike Montgomery will get the answer to this one. Who brings the agenda when you're teaching a class, Mike?
I do.
We as leaders, the instructors. When you're coaching, who brings the agenda?
They do.
They do.
Oh, so we don't come in as a coach. It's a different hat. We come to every coaching conversation with the same question, which is basically, what's the most important conversation that we need to be having right now that's going to help you get your business from wherever it's at to wherever you want it to be? I have no judgment if you're brand new or if you're 200 units a year, right? And they're in control of the topic. And then let's drill down. Let's interrogate reality. So if you're going to do this, then be a coach in front of the room or a consultant. Don't be an instructor with an agenda, because that's just teaching. It's another class on your calendar. Next up, guest speakers. So we used to sit down with our ALC and say, guys, what classes do we need? Who do we want to teach those classes? And who knows somebody that's versed in this topic that's not from our market center? And the truth is, when I taught personally in my own market center, I'd get 6 or 8 people. When I went to a neighboring market center, I'd get 40 people. So I learned real fast that you're not a prophet in your own backyard. So I don't care how good you are, how valid you are, when you bring somebody in from outside of your market center to teach a class, all of a sudden there's energy, there's excitement, there's an expert in front of the room. And so you need to get at least, I challenge my team leaders to bring in one person a week, just one class a week from outside the market center. Now, I don't care if that's the county appraiser or assessor. They can be unrelated to real estate. They don't have to have a license, but they're an expert at something. Get people from outside of your market center in. Next is mentorship programs. I mean, you have productivity coaching, there's mentorship. They're two different topics. Either you have both or you have one or the other. Just have something where people are willing to help those new agents, because I will tell you, one of the challenges we have with new agents is a lot of times many market centers bring new agents in and then they just leave them to flail. They just flounder. So they don't have a system or a model. And so know this, the definition of a system or a model is something has to be duplicatable and predictable. Duplicatable and predictable. So if you have a system, that means we can duplicate it to scale and we can predict the results, right? So we don't want to wing things, which is what most of us do as team leaders. I still consider myself a team leader because that's truly the role that I had the most fun in. I impacted more people's lives as a team leader than any other role. Productivity coach, hold them able, which means, guys, you should be meeting team leaders, OPs, whoever. We should be meeting with the productivity coach each week, having conversations. And then what are the metrics you're using to use for checks and balances to see if they're doing their job? And I'll be the first to tell you, we're struggling in my market centers in this area. So if you're using new agent productivity, new agent company dollar, right? So this is one metric that could be with the productivity coaches. Another could be how many agents do you have every month that has their very first transaction, right? Do you have a set goal? What does that number look like? These are things that you need to have conversations so your productivity coach starts thinking the same way or is in alignment, or your mentors, that group is in alignment with what you're teaching. Recognition and incentives. So contests, this was really big. So once a quarter, we used to run a contest of whether it was listings or referrals. I used to have a board, a whiteboard in my office. I used to track how many referrals I got every month and who gave them to me, right? And so at the end of my team leader career, we had 228 agents. So we had 7 ALC members. So we had, when we had our ALC retreat, we recruited or had a mock draft of the office. So the ALC members would draft from 1 to 7 and then from 7 to 1. And they would draft anybody they wanted in the office on their roster. And then that ALC member was responsible for that roster for the whole year. So when we ran a contest, say it was a listing contest. So whatever team had the most listings came over my house and I would cook for them. I would order cases of wine. I cook all kinds of crazy food for the agents. We had a blast. We were there to have fun. The person who had the most listings didn't necessarily win. The person who had the most listings on the winning team got either an iPad or a ticket to family reunion or mega camp, but they had to be on the winning team. The winning team came over my house. So let's say each team had 35 people, 20 people would attend my house. We had vendors that supplied the iPad or the price of that ticket. And then the market center or additional vendors would pay for the food and the wine. But people to this day still talk about those events because we just had fun, guys. That was the time for the team leader to bond with their agents. So there was small agents, mid-size agents, mega agents, because it was a whole spread. It was a draft of that whole office, right? So this was really big. Bold registrations. I know Bold is coming up in a couple of your areas. I know there's one in Orlando. I know there's one in Lakeland. Guys, you got to figure out a number, whatever your metrics is. What is the number you're going to drive to this? Is it a percentage of your market, of your roster? Is it a number? But I can tell you one thing. I don't know anything about I haven't been a Bold coach in 5 years. However, I will tell you that you will get more production from people going to Bold than if they weren't in Bold. And I don't care if they're capping agents, new agents. And a lot of times you get a new agent comes out of there with 0, but all of a sudden 6 weeks or 2 months after Bold, they start getting listings from all the lead gen they did during Bold, right? So when Bold comes, you got to drive attendance. It's in your own best interest. And if you have some sort of rebate program, make sure it's being publicized. Last, I had video certification. Now, I don't know how valid this is in this day and time. These were just from my notes when I was a team leader. Georgia must have me do some sort of class back then. That's why I found these notes. We used to have a green screen video in our office, and the agents were able to use it for free. I don't know if green screen is still valid, but you can just substitute this and say social media. I know Mike Montgomery in Inverness has been really taking social media to a new level with Indeed.com. He's hired several R2s from Indeed. If people are answering an Indeed ad, they're looking for a reason, guys. He's on Facebook, he's on Instagram, and now he started about a month ago on YouTube. So he started a YouTube channel and everything, and he's learning every day. He's texting me something he's learning about social media. Now, I will tell you that social media is a great way to get into relationship with people. It may not be your short-term answer to recruiting, but it will be your long-term if you keep nurturing these videos and you do it consistently. For many of you know Ken Pozak in the Claremont office. When he first came back to KW 2 years ago, when I went to interview him at his office, I asked him about his YouTube channel, and his answer to me was his first 80 videos, he got 0 referrals from 80, 0 referrals. Now he gets somewhere between 600 and 800 leads per month. 600 and 800 leads per month. Now, this is 5, 6 years later. I'm going to guess Ken has probably done more than 500 videos, 600 videos, but his first 80 were at 0. So don't give up right before you find your own success. If you're going to commit to it, then commit to yourself that you're going to see it through, that you're going to follow up on that. Really important. So last masterminds, guys, if you have, every once a quarter, you can do out of the office masterminds to attract, to be an attractor of talent. And it's a great retention tool. Language of sales training. Almost every market center has a current MAPS coach or past MAPS coach that understands that words matter. The language of sales matters. To teach something along that. And with your team meetings, it's important to know, a lot of times if I'm by an area, I stop in an office, and even my own offices, and I'll see the team meetings. Guys, they don't want fluff. They don't want to know it's National Oreo Cookie Day. If we're not teaching to the top of the room, and if we're teaching to the bottom of the room, then you're never going to see the top of the room in there ever again. We need to bring meat and potatoes to the team meetings if you expect your people to come there. Because if they're not getting something from your meeting, they're not coming back to the meetings. So what questions do we have?
Can we get a copy of your slide deck?
I sure can. I'll send it to Ashley, and Ashley can send it out.
Thank you. This is incredible. Thank you so much. I mean, you've just given me so much stuff to think about.
Well, I appreciate that. If there's anything, we're all here in the same boat to help one another. So if you wanted to call me, I'd set time, spend time with you, whatever you need. And it's nothing that everybody in this call wouldn't do for one another, because that's what we've been taught. That's our culture, right? So
Rich,
I appreciate.
can I say something, Rich? Steve.
Yes.
Tuck.
Yep.
Many of you may not know this. Back when Rich was the team leader, there wasn't much population of agents in the Lake Nona area. Rich recruited agents from all over the city of Orlando using these methods. So it wasn't like he had some fortuitous event that came his way. He had to not only earn people's confidence in Keller Williams, he had to convince them that it was worth driving across Orlando to work in his market center. I taught in Lake Nona many times during those days, and so all I can tell you is it wasn't as easy for him as he's making it sound. It was extraordinarily difficult. But every time I taught in his market center, the room was full. The office was always full. Rich, you're understating how easy this is. You made it look easy, but in those days, you didn't have a big population of agents in your area, did you?
No, there was only 250 agents when I first started.
In your whole pond, right? In your whole pond.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy because you would I remember you would get agents from seriously on the other side of town would come to your market center to work.
Yeah.
So-
And guys, anybody can do this, but I will tell you, it's going to take, in today's date and time, when we're, the evolution of real estate's evolving, right? And again, I've said this before, I think it's a little bit more challenging today for team leaders than when I was a team leader. You're going to need each and every one of these tools in your tool chest to be the standout black belt that you all want to be, right? Because if you want to net 60 agents a year, wow, that's an amazing, and what that does for you, it creates opportunities. Georgia is just waiting for people to shine that really want to see what's next. But remember, opportunity isn't something that's given, it's something that's earned. It's got to be earned, the opportunity.
Thanks for doing this, Rich. There was stuff in there that I'd forgotten about, frankly. You
Well,
know,
listen, I tip my hat to you. You're the longest ranking team leader stud out there, Dallas. You've been about 16 years, 17 years in the role.
getting ready to be 17 years. Yeah. You remember
Yeah.
we used to only, I think the target appointment numbers was 20 or 25 when
Mhm.
we started, and then they raised it to 40. You would have thought it would have the end of everybody's world.
Yeah,
And all of a sudden 40 is definitely normal on average. So
yeah. When
thanks
John
for putting
Davis
this
took
together.
over with the 210-40, we all thought it was crazy, and we did it. We did it. We did it. That was the bottom line.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good,
So
good job. I think there is a lot of reminders in there, Rich. So good. So thank you for doing that. And definitely in our classes that we're going to have on once a month on Friday, Ryan, a lot of these things will come up. But I'm going to encourage you guys to go to your Spring Explosion book that I gave you at the class on Friday, because a lot of this similarities, but I think the value in this, and like coming to my class on Fridays and what Rich did here with those of us that are in the role. I don't know if this happens to you, Rich, but you put a topic up and then all of a sudden, all the things that we used to do, even as
Yeah.
you're having the conversation, come into your brain, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like I told them on Friday, I said, there's so much stuff here. I if you were to ask me to sit down and write it down, I couldn't do it. Yet, if when we're having a conversation or you're presenting or putting it down, it's like, oh, I remember this, just like Dallas said, Dallas, you're listening to it. And we talk about, oh, I've been a team leader for 17 years. I know everything. Yet, as he was talking about, it's like, oh, yeah, we did that. And oh, yeah, we did that, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we used to do. We were talking about it with our ALC. We used to do a power hour every morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't do that anymore. I think that's a great thing to bring back.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And
I
Georgia,
love,
I want to give you credit because there's a lot of things, and all of us, Dallas, all of us did all of these things, right, at one time or another. And the thing that I think that had the biggest impact for me as a team leader, or one of the leadership group in an office, a market center, was probably the 3-in-1 conversation. That probably got more referrals for me in the office than any other thing I just showed you. So if anything, master that one thing, the 3-in-1 conversation. It'll get you in relationship with your agents. It'll help you with what you need to put on your training calendar for next month. And it will fill your calendar with referrals, people that you want to attract to your brokerage.
awesome. I think this is a great idea. Thanks to our OPs who said, let's bring other people on the call. I think this is an awesome idea. So thanks for everybody's contribution. So I know we have somebody speaking next week, Ashley. I just don't remember who it is. I think it's like Chris, you're going to be talking about, you're going to be doing something about investing.
Yep, to the OPs.
Yeah.
Next week is State of the Region, so it's.
Oh, it's Steve Tufts?
State of the Region.
Oh, the State of the Region. So next week we got Ray. Okay, very good. All right.
Well, you wanted to show the power of links.
Oh, okay. So yeah, real quickly, and Ashley, I haven't been there, so just you might need to guide me. But so guys, if you just as a reminder, if you want to find things, am I sharing my screen? Okay, you're going to go to your to the hub, and under let me just find it here, and under your weekly daily appointments, Ashley, weekly call link here, the weekly call link. is your power ups with Jonathan Dupree. So we have them listed here for you. And then we will also be sending them out, but then it's really easy. All that you need to do here is this the link, Ashley?
They have to register.
All right, so yeah, that's what I thought, that there was a registration form. Perfect. So Ashley just put the registration form there. And then once you register, you actually will be getting this. But if you forget, then you've got it there and it's all done. So we try to make things as simple as possible and take this off your plate. So, and then don't forget, Rich is every other Friday has a team leader role play call. Rich, why don't you tell everybody about that a little bit?
Yeah, so this Friday we'll be re-engaged because last Friday they were out training. So every other Friday from 10 to 11:30, my 3 team leaders and I get on the phone on a Zoom. Apologize, and we recruit each other. So Cameron, Mike Courtois, Mike Montgomery get on, and I ask them, who do you want to be? Do you want to be a new agent, a $2 million agent, a $10 million agent, a mega 20 million? And then we go for it. We'll go in 20 minutes and we tell them what we did well. Then we tell them what they can improve upon, and then the next one goes. So we spend 90 minutes, and so they get great feedback, and it's just, everybody's just making each person better.
Okay. And so it's every other Friday. So we'll fix this so we might know some dates. And then Ashley, we need to change that to 10 o'clock instead of 10:30.
It's from 10 to 11:30.
Yeah, 10 to 11:30. Okay. And then maybe we can have a link with your calls or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out so people know.
And everybody's welcome to join, guys.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you, Rich. All right, everybody. So thank you. You're doing an amazing job. I'm so proud of each and every one of you. Thanks for being part of our region. And you got a lot of great information here today. So let's go out and grow, grow, grow. And of course, we're always here to support you. Have a great week, everybody. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Bye.
Thank you, Georgia.
Thank you, Rich. You did a great job. Thank you.
Good job, Rich.
We'll send these things
Thank
out.
you. All right, bye.